What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Snowcast Sports Talk Podcast, episode 66. Was not planning on doing an episode today, but I have to do one because this Daniel Jones contract talk is lighting up the Giants world. It is crazy. So I'm just going to jump into it. This will probably be a quicker podcast because it's just me, but thank you for everyone listening. Appreciate it. And shout out to all the different content creators who are all making content on this today. But I have to put my 2 cents into this bucket of craziness that is the Daniel Jones speculation. So yesterday, on Sunday, I believe, it came out that Daniel Jones changed agents. We heard previously that negotiations were starting to heat up between the Giants and Daniel Jones, and then out of nowhere, Daniel Jones moved on from his agency. I believe it was CAA, and he moved to a new agency that has signed a lot of top quarterback contracts. And what I mean by that is this agency, and I'm not going to remember the name, have signed people like Dak Prescott, have gotten people signed like Aaron Rodgers, and more, who have become the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Do I think Jones should be paid as the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Absolutely not. You know, what we take away from just this news by itself is, okay, Daniel Jones, obviously, he wants a change in representation, and that really means one of two things. Either one, the representation isn't getting him enough money, and he wants someone to represent him that can get him his maximum amount of money. The other theory is that this is the total opposite, that Daniel Jones actually wants to get a deal done quicker, and his representation is trying to push this out and fight this to get as much money as possible, when Jones just wants to get a deal done. Sadly, I'm thinking Jones wants more. One big reason for that is there was a report that came out from Pro Football Talk Mike Florio saying that negotiations have been much bumpier than anyone had expected. And so let's just start with this. Now that we have all of this news, crazy. A year ago, if I thought we were going to be in a bidding war or a negotiation war with Daniel Jones, and most of the community, including myself, want him to be the quarterback next year, I would have been excited, because I would have been, man, we're going to be in for one hell of a season. That was 2022, and we were a 9-win team that went deep into the playoffs. But that is where we are right now. We are in a position where we need to fight for Daniel Jones, and the Giants are going to fight for Daniel Jones. I want to start, too, by saying good for Jones. I'm always a believer players should fight for their money. This could be Jones's only payday. And has Jones earned a payday? Absolutely. Daniel Jones, at the end of the season, first of all, we saw progression through the season, but then as the season went on, he became the offense. I mean, when we beat the Vikings, Saquon Barkley was an absolute stud in that game. He only ran the ball 9 times. Jones won that game with his arm and with his legs. The real question I have right now, with all this information, with Jones changing agencies, with a report coming out that this has been a bumpier start than anyone had expected from either side, it seems. The question is, how much money is Jones asking for? Because Joe Schoen said in his press conference at the end of the season, and I agree with this, there has to be a walkaway price for all the players who are looking to re-sign. As a fan, I want nothing more than to see DJ back here next year. He is, and I was last year, I thought DJ would be gone. I did not think DJ was good enough to warrant a contract to come back. After this year, I believe he does deserve a contract, and I would love to see him back. And I believe he really is the heart and soul of our team. The question is, how much money is he asking for? That's really the question. And so the report has come out, too, that Daniel Jones is looking for $45 million a year. It's so tough, because players, in my opinion, deserve their money, but GMs and fans want their players to play on cheap deals so we can build Super Bowl winning rosters. I mean, most teams that go to the Super Bowl, the quarterbacks are on a rookie deal, or the quarterback has taken a bunch of pay cuts. I mean, just look at the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is on a rookie deal and has a stacked roster around him, and Patrick Mahomes, I think, only made this year $36 million. For example, Aaron Rodgers made $50 million, Kyler Murray made $46, and I believe Deshaun Watson made in between that. None of them made the playoffs. So it's like, yes, on one hand, Jones should fight for his money, but on the other hand, Joe Schoen doesn't need to be, he will be. I know this. Joe Schoen will be smart with his money, and he's not going to overpay someone, especially Daniel Jones. He's not going to overpay. So the real question is, what is that money? If Joe Schoen wants to pay Daniel Jones $30 million and Daniel Jones is saying, what are you talking about? The franchise tag is 32.5. I deserve at least that. I'm with Jones. If Jones is saying, I want 45 million and Joe Schoen's like, no, I want to pay you 37, 38, I'm absolutely with Joe Schoen. And the thing we have to remember is, no matter what this contract is, as the years progress, this contract will become more and more team friendly. And what I mean by that is, as the cap goes up by about 15% each year, Jones's contract will probably only go up by 5 to 10%, depending on how they break out the contract. It's just crazy. Again, when it comes down to the dollar amount, we do not pay Jones over. In my opinion, you can't pay Jones over $40 million a year. If we pay him over $40 million a year, it's a huge liability. And the reason I say that is I implore all Daniel Jones fans, and I'm one of them, I think Daniel Jones has deserved just about $40 million. That's probably my ceiling. Any more than that, watch the Eagles-Giants game at the end of the year, the last playoff game, and look at the talent gap between the two teams. If we're paying Daniel Jones $40 million a year, and he doesn't take another massive step in his progression this will be year 5, or year 6, either way, if he doesn't take that step, we'll never get further than the divisional round because we won't be able to put the talent around him. And a great example of this is Dak Prescott with the Cowboys. And I'm happy Dak got his money. That's awesome. Here on this podcast, I will cement it. Dak Prescott will not win a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys. They don't have enough money to put talent around him. Hell, they probably won't be as good next year as they were this year because they're going to lose talent. I don't want to get into that situation with Daniel Jones. That scares me. And I trust Joe Schoen won't do that. So don't stress about that. But $40 million is about the max I would go. Another interesting thing here, too, is Daniel Jones has never come off like a guy who wants a shitload of cash. I don't know why, but I guess in my head and seeing him in press conferences, I thought he'd be a guy who not take a team-friendly deal, but take a team-friendly deal. Not come in and be like, hey, pay me $25 million and I'm good. But being a guy who's like, just give me a little bit over the franchise tag and I want to stay here. You know, it's advantageous for Jones to stay here. Jones has had 3 head coaches, 2 general managers, 4 offensive coordinators in the time he's been with the Giants. Why would he not want to come back and be with the same coach, the same offensive coordinator, and only grow in the system? That just doesn't make sense to me. So it's crazy. It's wild to think that that's the situation we're in right now, but everyone's talking about it. One other interesting thing too, or not interesting, but one thing we need to remember is no one knows what these numbers are. The reports that have come out have said it's been a bumpier start. He's changed his agent. In the middle of negotiations, by the way. They were talking last week, and he changed his agency on Sunday. And then finally, the $45 million number. If that's real, that is concerning. At the end of the year, what I would have told you would have happened is I would have thought that Daniel Jones would have been signed to a new contract, 4-year deal, $120 million, something like that, $130 million, and Saquon would have been tagged. As this time passes on, right now it's February 20th, in the middle of March, free agency hits. If this time passes on, and if time passes on and this situation stays the same, we will see Saquon walk and DJ be tagged. And so the reason I say that is there's also reports coming out that Saquon is not, Saquon and the Giants are not really lining up either on the contract value, where Saquon maybe wants $15 million a year, the Giants want to pay him $12.5 million. Again, I side with the Giants on this one. I love Saquon. I love Daniel Jones. As a fan, I love them. But, Joe Schoen, I see where he's coming from. When you're building a roster, you can't overpay guys. It's going to kill you later. You can't overpay them. And so this whole thing's crazy. Like I said, I this wasn't going to be as long a podcast, but I just wanted, to put my 2 cents in there. I would love to see both back. I'm a huge fan of both, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. I'm a huge fan of both, but it has to be at the right price. And Joe Schoen is not going to make the same mistakes Dave Gettleman made or the same mistakes Jerry Reese made before that. You need to be smart with your money here. And I think Barkley, $13 million, 3 years. I think Daniel Jones, $38 million for 4 years. I think that's the sweet spot where both parties would be happy. I'd obviously love to see less for both, but I think ripping this up could be a huge, or letting these guys walk and kind of ripping up his team could prove to be horrible for people even like Joe Schoen or Brian Dable. I know, what quarterback are you going to bring in that's going to be better than Daniel Jones? And then if you draft a rookie and have a rough year, that's 2 bad years. And Giants fans know, after 2 bad years, most of our coaches and GMs are out of here. So I really think they got to work to re-sign both of them. But this report doesn't look good. And it's just crazy that like a year ago, if someone said to me, this is the video I was going to be making for the 66th episode of the Snowcast, I would have been shocked. But yeah, I'll throw some links in the description so you guys can see what's going on here. Basically, just to sum it up one more time, Jones switched agents. It's a bumpy start. Reports that he might want a little bit north of $45 million a year, which is way over the franchise tag at $32.5 and way over what the Giants can afford right now. Guys, we have to build a team with talent, all right? That's our problem. Jones is a good quarterback, and if you put Jones on a team like the Eagles, I believe the Eagles would be pretty much the same. Jalen Hurts, very talented guy, but he has a lot around him. But we need to put talent around Jones. So let's get him under $40 million. Let's get Saquon under 14, and I'm happy. But either way, let me know what you guys think down below. Do we keep Jones and Barkley? What are your predictions? Do both stay? Do both walk? Does one leave? Does one walk? Or does one leave and does one stay? I appreciate you all listening. Be sure to hit a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe. We have weekly podcasts come out, Giants and also just football stuff in general. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.